How's everyone doing today? I hope you're all having a fantastic day. My name is Odie Matthews. Welcome back to my channel on this website we like to call www.camerabagtime.com. Oh wait, that's even better. On this website we like to call www.camerabagtime.com/youtube.edu, and today we are going to take a look at some camera bags. Let's get into it. First thing I want to say off the top is that this isn't a which one of these camera bags is like the best. This is just a look at some different camera bags that might help you make a decision on the type of camera bag or one of these camera bags that you might need that fits your needs the best. So we're gonna look at three key things in this camera bag video, and that is how much camera gear can they hold? Does it work as a hybrid? Can it carry camera gear and regular stuff as well? And third, organization. If it holds the camera gear, how well is it organized for you? So with all of that, let's dive into it. I should also mention we're going to look at the Wandrd PRVKE 21 and 31 liter for size comparison, the Wandrd DUO, the Peak Design Everyday Backpack, mine is the zip version, and the Boundary Supply Prima. I will say I don't own a lot of camera bags. I'm not a big photography person. I only own like 2 cameras, not a lot of gear. So I don't typically use a lot of camera bags. These are just some of the ones that I own. Actually, these are all of the ones I own. So that's why we're looking at these. But I believe these are some of the best on the market. So with all of that, let's get into it. First one I want to look at is the Peak Design Everyday Backpack. This is, like I said, the zip version. That it has these dividers on the inside here that you can either fold down or fold up depending on how big your lens or your camera is, and it's accessible from either side. The only real difference between the zip and the regular like clinch top one is that you can have access, you can unzip the front or the top part and have access rather than the cinch that opens up like this. But you still get the nice side panel access that the Everyday both have, the side access, what does that even mean? Where you can easily see inside, and these dividers are your main key thing here. Now, the one reason I particularly like this bag is these dividers, right? I'm just gonna pull one out for you to look at, make it really easy to organize anywhere from stuff in the middle to either side, or depending on how you wanna do it, these work really well. The one downside is if you're hoping for a full clamshell opening on either version, especially this one, due to the fact that all the Velcro is here and that's where these connect in, you're not going to get a full clamshell without ripping these dividers out. One thing I do like about this bag is depending on how much camera gear you're going to take, you can easily organize this to bring extra stuff that's maybe not camera related with you. One thing that I usually do when I did take this bag out, when I was using it for photography and to film some YouTube videos, is I would, when it got cold out, I was able to easily put a jacket up top, my camera gear either on the like bottom one or underneath here even, and still have plenty of room. You can buy more dividers, which I think having 3 in the zip would probably be more ideal depending on how tall your gear is. But then you also, on the side panels, have even more organization from a little magnetic pouch zippered on either side to have more gear, so like your SD cards, your camera batteries, and things like that. The Peak Design Everyday Bag works really well for photography because, for one, it's a Peak Design product and those you've made phenomenally well. But also, the infinite zip system is what I like to call it, where it zips all the way around. It makes it that no matter where you're getting into this bag from, which is why I prefer it over the cinch top, actually, you can easily grab whatever it is you need. So if you know that you're wearing this bag, right, and you know that on your left side is your camera and your lens that you're gonna switch out, but on your right side is your GorillaPod or maybe your other camera, depending on how you swing this thing, or you swing this thing around, you know, okay, left side camera, got it. Or, you know, swing it around, right side, okay, lens, got it. Or you set it down, top of the bag, okay, got it. And that's one of the reasons I truly think this is a good camera bag, because you can use it to either carry a lot of camera gear, because you can organize those shelving however you want and fit a decent amount of stuff in here, or you can do it hybrid style and have regular stuff like everyday office commute and still be able to carry something small. Like I have an Sony a6000 with just one lens, and then I have a Canon PowerShot, which is like a little point and shoot. I don't bring a lot of camera gear because I don't need to. Those both will fit on one shelf if I wanted them to. I can still put other stuff in here. So hybrid-wise, works super well. Then you get into the organization. You've got really no quick access on the outside. But what you do have is a small pocket up front, and like I said, on those side panels, plenty of organization for extra camera equipment or just extra gear if you need it. Okay, so I asked my new good friend, Ismono, what he thought of the Peak Design Everyday Bag. And he was kind enough and nice enough to film a little question. I asked him, what is the biggest pro, what's the biggest con of this bag? And he was nice enough to answer that question for me. So I'm gonna throw it over to Bo so he can answer that as well.
Hello Odie, hello everyone on Odie's channel. First and foremost, thank you very much for inviting me to your video. For those of you who don't know, my name is Ismono. I am a film editor and bag reviewer here in Hamburg, Germany. You can find my YouTube channel and my Instagram on the Bo. So Odie invited me to his video to answer the question, what's the biggest positive and the biggest negative of the Peak Design Everyday Backpack? I reviewed the Peak Design Everyday Backpack on my channel, and I think the biggest positive and the biggest negatives is basically one feature. It's positive and negative at the same time. The Everyday Bag, opposed to its name, is actually essentially a photography bag hybrid that also wants to be an everyday bag. While you can use this as an everyday bag, as mentioned, at its core, this is a photography backpack. So you need to set this up with all of the dividers, like every other photography backpack, to your equipment and to your needs. So if you have a bigger camera, all the dividers need to be differently arranged than if you have a smaller camera or completely different items. So setting all of these dividers up for your personal needs with all of the Velcro is great. That's the biggest positive. You can basically make this bag your own and customize it to all of your equipment. And that's the biggest positive in my humble opinion. However, once you set this up for all of your equipment, this is not necessarily becoming the everyday bag that we are usually used to. For me, an everyday bag is a bag that I can use for work, but maybe once I finish work, I want to go home. Maybe I go grocery shopping. I want to use this bag to carry other items spontaneously. At least for me, that's an everyday bag. And once the bag is set up for all of your personal items that you need for work or for shooting, there's not much flexibility to stuff other items in this bag. So once all of the dividers are in, that's basically set. You can't, or you could change all of the dividers when you go to a grocery store and grab a box of cereals, for instance, but that would be very cumbersome. So all of the dividers are in place once you set up the bag, and it's only useful for all of the items that you set up the dividers for. So that's for me the biggest flaw or the biggest negative of the Peak Design Everyday Bag. That being said, I don't think this is a huge negative. You just need to know what to use this bag for. It's a photography bag at its core for either photography gear or other electronical equipment, or even if you set this up for traveling, so have a space for clothing, have a space for dopp kits, then it's great as well. But as mentioned, once everything is set up, there's no flexibility when you are on the run, when you are traveling, to carry anything else besides the items that the dividers are set up for. So yeah, those were my positive and negatives for the Peak Design Everyday Bag. Yeah, thanks again for having me on your video, and yeah, hopefully I answered your question. And if you like to see my Peak Design review, you can find it on YouTube on my channel Ismono, and there's the Peak Design Everyday Backpack review. So thank you very much for listening to my answer, and yeah, maybe I see you on my channel, and yeah, support Odie, stay safe, stay healthy everyone. Thank you very much.
So huge thank you to Ismono. It's crazy to think that one of my favorite YouTubers is in one of my videos. I will link to his YouTube channel and all of his stuff down below. Go follow him. He does awesome in-depth reviews and first looks, and his videos look spectacular because he's a professional, and I learned how to do this overnight when I first started. So again, thank you to Bo, and that is the first bag on this list, the Peak Design Everyday Bag. Okay, so with the Peak Design Everyday Bag, like I said, you can either carry a little bit or a lot of gear depending on how you want to set it up. Now I've got two others here, the Wandrd 21 liter Provoke and the 31 liter Provoke. Okay, so this one actually still has tags on it because my friends over at Wandrd were nice enough to let me borrow one for the size comparison. I told them I was doing one. I really wanted to show you guys both of these actually, and they were nice enough to let me borrow one, so I've got to give this back because I don't need it. I have a 21 liter. That's why the tag is still on this thing. But both of these bags work super well depending on the amount of gear you want to take. Obviously, less gear would go in the 21 liter and more gear will go in the 31 liter, and it has a full clamshell opening that gives you full access into the camera cube if you want it. So the way this bag opens up, right, you have this, and then boom, this is your whole camera setup right here, and these all have foam dividers in them so you can kind of organize it however you want depending on how big your stuff is or how little or how much you want to take. It all depends again on your own personal needs. It's the same thing with the 21 liter, just a little bit smaller. So again, the 31 liter will take more, but it has great organization for a little or a lot amount of gear. And Wandrd also has some new camera cubes, one of which will fit the full length of this bag, and another smaller one that will fit just at the top section of this bag. There's actually a divider right here. So when you get it from the top with the roll top, it's a different compartment from the camera cube unless you move that divider down, which if you have the camera cube in it, there's really no point to. So you can actually put a smaller camera cube at the top of either of these if you want to bring a little extra gear that you might not need to use as much. Maybe you're going to a big photo shirt, you know, because you take photos of shirts. People typically wear shirts when you take photos of them. But if you're going to a big photo shoot, maybe you're bringing a lot of gear, but some of it you might need quick, and some of it you might not need as quick. Well, that's where the Provoke also comes in kind of clutch with a side access door that gives you access to immediate things right here, depending again how you have the divider set up. That's kind of what it all comes down to on this bag. You can easily have your camera right there with the lens, so you can pull it out, click, click, boom, stick it back in, and then maybe when you get to your photo shoot or you get to where you're going, you set this thing down, unfold it, boom, and you're like, okay, all my camera gear, and then, oh, you know, let me get my jacket out, or let me get my tech pouch out, whatever else you might have in here. The only difference between the 21 liter and the 31 liter, everything is the same except for the 10 liter size difference. Other than that, these are both literally the exact same bag. And honestly, one of my favorite hybrid bags, because I am not someone, like I said, who takes a lot of camera gear, and this is one of the better hybrid bags because the roll top gives you plenty of extra space depending on what you're bringing, that if you're not taking a lot of camera gear, but you might need to invest in the 30 to maybe 20 liter overnight bag, this thing works really well because even with the camera cube in here, and I've done this with the 21 liter, so I wouldn't have any issues with the 31. With the way this roll top is, you can easily fit a small packing cube in an overnight pouch with all your camera gear and maybe stay, you know, one night depending on where you're going. Kind of works out really well if you ask me. So the organization for the camera works really well because you can customize it however you want. And again, depending on how much you want to bring, there's lots of options from Wandrd, whether it be extra camera cubes, bigger camera cubes, smaller or bigger bag. It works really well as a hybrid bag because the camera part doesn't take up the entire bag unless you want it to, in which that case you could have it do that. And the organization is very minimal if it's not the camera cube. That's the one thing the Wandrd Provoke doesn't offer if you're looking for extra organization on the bag. You have a little bit on the actual door itself, a little zippered guy where you can put SD cards or maybe extra batteries. But then other than that, all you have is a quick access compartment up top and then like the document sleeve right here. Other than that, you're not gonna get any extra organization with the Wandrd Provoke unless it's in the form of a pouch that you bring. So for some people that might be a downer because you might need that extra organization because you don't want to bring pouches, or maybe you just need it because that's just like how you like to roll, you know, who knows. So if you're looking for the extra organization that maybe like the Peak Everyday Bag offers with the side panels having it, then unfortunately the Wandrd Provoke won't completely satisfy you. But if you're looking to be able to bring a lot of stuff or a lot of camera gear, and this camera cube completely comes out too, and you can carry it around if you needed to, then I would say the Wandrd Provoke will definitely take care of you depending on how much you want to bring, and even then, it'll pretty much bend however you want it to fit stuff. Okay, now we're gonna move into the bags that fit just a little bit less. And I'm gonna keep it with Wandrd before we get to the last one. This is the Wandrd DUO, and this is the ultimate minimal camera bag hybrid daily bag. The reason I say that is because, like the Peak Design bag, it has an infinite zip system where the whole thing can be zipped down. But unlike the Peak, there's no Velcro that keeps it from being, you know, when you unzip it. This has some very interesting, and it's personally one of my favorite just regular day bags when it comes to the camera. It has a pop-up camera cube with a little Velcro guy in here that you can use as a door. This is also a little Velcro divider that you can put in here depending if you want to have something on either side. But also on top of that, it has two little expandable pouches that my like a power shot or a camera without a lens, another lens will fit in really nicely. And then it's loaded, I mean just absolutely loaded on the sides here with different types of organization, from a place for cables, little mesh guy, little rubber guy behind that, and then you got a spot over here for all honestly just all kinds of stuff. Extra camera batteries, SD cards, cases, whatever you need. A little flat guy up here, a good place to throw SD cards or pins or pencils, and then even a little pouch behind that for notebooks that goes all the way down. It's loaded with organization, but it is very minimal on the amount of camera gear you can handle. Like I said, it just really has this pop-up camera cube. My Sony a6000 fits in here super nice. You can use this little Velcro door to kind of, you know, put it on one little side here to, then you have it where it just gets in through one side. So really minimal on the amount of camera gear, but works really well as a hybrid and is chock full, full of all different kinds of organization. Also, if you don't really want to use it as a camera bag, I think it works really well as just a daily carry. I use this for work all the time, depending on what I'm doing. I think it works really well, and as the hybrid part of things, I think it also succeeds really well in that. Not to mention, it's on the smaller side, so depending on, you know, if maybe this is your carry-on and you're checking a bag, this works really well. It all kind of just comes down to, is it a make it or break it on, will it take enough of your camera gear? If you're not a serious photographer, kind of like I'm really not, or even a videographer, I think that's how you say that, and you're only bringing like maybe a camera, the charger, some batteries, and maybe an extra lens, then you know that's all you're going to need to bring, then I would say this honestly is one of the better ones on the market for the hybrid capabilities. Okay, the last bag we're going to look at is the Prima system. Now this again is a hybrid bag that teeters on the less organization side of things because the camera cube insert that comes with it doesn't really carry that much, but there are additional accessories you can get from batterysupply.com. Everything I've mentioned will be completely linked down below. I should also have said up top that all of these bags I've done an individual review on. If you want to check those out, just scroll through my channel and you will see them if you want to know more about them as a bag rather than just focusing on the camera, hybrid, and organization. I go more in depth in those videos. So Boundary Supply, right? Like I said, there are other inserts you can get with this, but the main gist of this bag is you have these little fidlock guys here, and it does a full open all the way down the middle, and then there is this is your camera cube, right? So this camera cube is very small, but it has some really cool features to it. Again, depending on how much you're gonna bring, this thing can be perfect for you. It has a divider in here, good for one camera and a lens, and it also can do this really interesting thing where you can unzip it and it does like accordion style. So if you had like a longer lens, like a telescoping lens, which I used to actually have, believe it or not, before I sold my old crappy camera that it was for, you could easily fit a longer lens, or maybe you might put something down here at the bottom that, you know, you can set your camera on top of, depending on how you want to do things. So that is one benefit right off the top, is that it can expand a little bit lengthwise if you need to bring a longer lens. Has a little bit of organization up here at the top for like SD cards and batteries, but other than that, fairly basic, except for the waist belt on the Prima system can be taken off. It's just Velcro, and you can actually fit it in here and wear it as a hip pack, or you could even do it as like wouldn't really go for the sling look. I think it's a little bit too boxy, but you definitely could. And then when you get where you're going, right? And I did this actually for my trip when I went to Dublin a couple of years ago. This is the bag that I used. I brought some camera stuff with me, and when I got to where I was staying, I dropped the bag. I was able to fit a small packing cube and some clothes and stuff in here, and then I was able just to take this with me out and about. And honestly, as a hip pack, not something I typically like rocking, because I'm not a big fan of the hip pack, but honestly worked really well. So hybrid wise, again, works really well because this one actually has more room than the Wandrd Duo, or maybe even the Wandrd PRVKE, because the camera cube doesn't take up a lot of room. It does have side access to the camera cube, and the camera cube just basically snaps in here, and then the door becomes one with it. And there's some extra organization here on the door if you wanted to use it. It's not like super great, but it is RFID safe house, according to this little thing that I never noticed before. I'm sure I missed that in my video. I'm surprised no one pointed that out to me. Boundary Supply also offers a giant camera cube that can fit the entire length of this bag, much like the Wandrd PRVKE series has one as well. So if this wasn't enough for you, but you like this bag, then you can easily get one of the bigger camera cubes that fits in it. It also has some smaller organization on the doors, and that's pretty much it besides the quick access. So again, not a lot of extra organization, but a very solid and well-built bag. It also comes with this little admin thing. I don't know if this would really help in the photography side of things, but it does come with it. But overall, the Boundary Supply, right, with just a small camera cube, a little bit of organization, it works really well if you're only taking a little bit about gear, I can't speak words half the time on this channel. I'm gonna get shirts made. I'm honestly considering, and I'd like to know if anybody would actually buy one. I just want to get a shirt that says "Words are hard." That's it. Not any kind of like I don't have a logo, but not my name on it or anything. Just "Words are hard." Just thinking about getting that shirt made. Maybe make a bunch of them and sell them at cost. You know, just so people can have shirts. Because you know what? Words, they're hard, man. All the time on this channel. I'm always stuttering and stumbling over myself because my teleprompter is broken and I've never had one, so that's also part of it. So yeah, another great little bag for small camera gear. So depending on what your needs are, right, I just kind of did this a little quick because I'm not going to go full in depth. Like I said, I have full reviews on all of these, but depending on how much gear it is that you need to bring is going to depend on the camera bag for you. That's a given. So with these bags, my only goal was just to kind of show you some different ones that might have organization. But if you have any comments, questions, or concerns about any of the products I mentioned, throw them in the comments below or shoot me an email, odiematthewsbags@gmail.com. I'd be more than happy to take more videos, take more pictures, and answer any extra additional questions you might have that weren't covered in this video. But overall, all of these are super solid bags. I've used each one of these for the little camera gear that I have, and they all work really well. So again, I hope this helps you with your decision-making process. Maybe it's not one of these bags, but maybe it gives you an idea of how much or how little you need to bring with you when you do photography, because that's all I'm here to do, is just try to, I guess, shed some light on that, because photography is definitely not my main strong suit. It's not even one of my strong suits. It's very low on the list of strong suits, but I would suggest checking out Ismono. He does a lot of stuff with photography. Like I said, he's super awesome, super cool dude. Got the pleasure to have like a Skype call with him, which was super surreal because again, I was a fan of his before I even started this channel. He was actually part of my inspiration to kind of start doing this. So check out his channel. He does all kinds of stuff with photography, whether it be reviews on products or even bags. He's a little bit more in-depth on the camera side of things. So check him out. And again, thank you to Bo for making a little video for me to put in this video. I really appreciate that. So again, thank you guys so very much for watching. If there's a product you want me to get my hands on to do a review, so you know what it's like before you buy it, let me know. Follow me on Instagram, odie_matthews. I like to put things up to the vote, and just, you know, it's Instagram, so post pictures and stuff. Sometimes I'm my dog. My dog is super cute, so follow me for my dog. But other than that, I think that's going to do it for this one. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Yeah, see you next time.